Everybody here. Today is March 16th. I want to welcome everyone to our County Board of Supervisors meeting, and thank you all for coming today. I've asked Mr. Andrews to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to give a brief moment to Vice Chairman David.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to, it's not on the agenda, like to exercise a personal privilege or executive privilege, whatever Robert's rules indicates. But with the passing of Judge Palmer, who served our county wonderfully for many, many years, both in Pima and here, with his passing and upcoming funeral on Saturday, I would like to propose to our board, since it's not on the agenda, I can't make a motion, but I'd like to propose that we put a new flag up during this week. U.S. flag code does not allow us, only the governor or the president can have the order of the flag to be flown at half staff, but I would ask that we put a new flag up during this week at the courthouse and have that presented to Judge Palmer, to Don Palmer, his wife, either at or before their services on Saturday. So I would open that for discussion.
Do we have to have a motion on that? I'm all for it. Do we need a motion on it? Or?
No, it's not on the agenda, so I don't think it's...
So we can just, no, I agree that'd be a great honor. I'd be happy to go with that one.
I think it's a great idea. Thank you for recommending that, Paul. I think it's a great idea. Judge Palmer is a great man, did great things for our community, and very blessed to have him. I'd also like to take this opportunity to have a moment of silence for Judge Palmer.
Clay, one more thing, if I could, please.
Okay.
Well, you know, not only Judge Palmer served as our judge, he was a police officer right early out of high school, and then he became an attorney, and his service to our valley was impeccable. I mean, he served citizens of Graham County in these different ways, and his church services. So he's a great loss, a great legacy. So I just want to really express my appreciation for his life and what he did for us all.
Go ahead and have a moment of silence. All right, I want to thank everybody. We'll go ahead and move forward with our meeting. Want to recognize Eric Bejarano here with the City of Safford and thank him for joining us today. Do we have anybody online this morning? Welcome to those online. Can we get a motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting and work session held on March 2nd?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. And could we get a motion to approve our demands and handwritten warrants?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. We will now turn our time over to Sheriff Allred. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning, gentlemen. How's everybody doing today?
Good, thank you.
Good. So yeah, we have a couple of little items real quick. Our first item this morning is we're asking for the approval from of Summit Food Services, amendment number 1. So basically what that is TJ's been working with our food service folks there in the kitchen at the jail. And it's going to be like what we're wanting to do is like a little micro market, I think they're kind of calling it, more or less. And what that is there'll be like kiosk setup type stuff inside of our break room so that our employees don't have to leave during their lunch hour. If they don't bring their lunch, they're able to purchase something to eat through our kitchen. That's kind of what we're looking at doing right now. We'll see how this works, and it should work very well. Of course, it'll save a little bit as far as them traveling to town to get something to eat, or if they didn't have something that they could bring from home or whatever. It's something they can pick up there. I think that would be really beneficial for us. And when we have our break room, they use it, but a lot of times that's because they go to town, get something to eat, and then come back and eat there. So maybe they don't have to make that trip, and help them in their long run. So that's what we're looking for right now with that one.
Okay. Questions or concerns from the board?
I think it'll benefit them, benefit those that work there. They won't have to spend a third of their time going back and forth to Safford, and the way gas prices are, we don't want to do that anyway. So I think it's a great idea.
And I would add, it's a no cost. It's no cost to the county. This is gonna. I'm gonna guess that their refrigerated case or whatever is gonna be purchased by the foods company. So it'll be just a way of adding value or adding a little perk to our employees. So that's at no cost. That's a great idea. I'd go ahead and make a motion that we approve the request to have the amendment for the food service, Summit Food Service Amendment 1.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you so very much on that. My second one is I'm asking for an approval of a 6-day extension of administrative leave with pay per Graham County Merit System manual. That's just, there's still an investigation going on, and so I'm just asking for a 60-day extension.
Okay. Questions, concerns?
Yeah, I've talked about this and looked into it, and sometimes these investigations take a little bit more time than we need to do, and some more time may be necessary on this. So we certainly want a thorough investigation and get it right.
Yeah, I'll agree. And if the Cochise County is able to take care of this investigation quickly, and if the employee is not retained, then we wouldn't pay the full 60 days. It would just be up until the findings and the final decision. If he's retained, then he's not without pay. So that's good.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and make a motion, if there's no other discussion, to approve the 60-day extension for the leave of Graham County, for the Graham County deputy.
And I'll second that. It's according to the Graham County Merit System manual, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate you being here today. Next, we'll hear from Cindy Orr with our Treasurer's Office. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm here to request approval to have an agreement with Lourdes Maddock for part-time work. As you're aware, she retired from full-time service with the county last Thursday after 47 dedicated years to service to the county in the Treasurer's Office. Her retirement leaves a big hole, and as you're aware, with a small staff, we really need help for coverage until a new person is hired.
That's great. 47 years. That's amazing. That is amazing. And what a blessing to get to have her come back for a little while. That's great.
It will really be a blessing to the office.
Yeah. Any questions, concerns?
No, I'm all for it. It's a necessity, and I thank her for her service all them 47 years and her willingness to come back to serve a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes.
I did have one question. That is, I know that it's a 20-hour week maximum, if I read that correctly. And my question is, after the new employee is hired, do you anticipate that there would be some overlap, some training, or will that terminate her temporary agreement?
At this point, the plan is that when someone is hired, she would no longer be needed, but I'd like to leave that open as we see what the needs and the availability is
Sure.
at that point.
Yeah, it's hard to, 47 years of corporate knowledge and just to have it walk out the door, I'm in favor of a little overlap if needed.
Thank you.
Same here. Could we get a motion?
Yeah, go ahead and make a motion to approve the agreement with Lourdes Maddock to work part-time in Treasurer's office until we find someone else.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion
Thank you
passes.
very much.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Herman Anders with probation.
Okay, so I'm here to ask for approval for a limited services agreement with Family Transitions to deliver treatment for juvenile probation for the fiscal year of 25-26 and 26-27.
Okay.
No discussion?
I would, Chairman, if I may, I would note that I see that they're already working family transitions for the adult probationers, and I saw that this is that their rate was $100 for group sessions, but is there a provision for individual sessions as well as for group sessions?
There is, and I don't remember what that is, but this is, we are in need of a juvenile services for female offenders. So we have 2 pending, and this would cover those 2 that are pending. And it'll be paid out of state funding.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I'd go ahead, if you don't have a question, Chair, I'd go ahead and make a motion that we support our probation department and approve the limited service agreement with Family Transitions for juvenile probationers treatment.
And I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Andrews. Now hear from Hannah Duderstadt with our elections department. Good morning, Hannah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a couple of things to ask the board. First being requesting your approval to ratify the purchase of unbudgeted capital for 12 ballot printers for elections, not to exceed $29,700. These printers were originally budgeted for this current fiscal year under 4140, which is election equipment less than $2,500. But during purchasing, it was advised that these actually should be coded as capital together as one lot. These ballot printers are what we send to our vote centers, and the reason why we are replacing them is because our current model has been discontinued, and they're quite old also, so these new printers will be a great asset to us. So I'm here to ask the board's approval to ratify that purchase under capital.
So we already had approved these just under a different class.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions or concerns?
Certainly need to update our printers to have good elections. We don't want any kind of discrepancies on that, so I'm all for this.
I'm in support also, but I did have a question on the paperwork for the meeting. It showed it looked like 2 different dollar items, and I think one was for a total altogether of $49,000 or so. And so I was just needed a little clarity. We're approving the not to exceed $29,000, but there was other funding that was shown in our packet.
So that was a separation of, in addition to the printers, we also went ahead and purchased the toners and the drums that would go with the printers. So that is a separate dollar amount, and that's coded, and that was budgeted for separately. So it is just the section dealing with the printers themselves.
Okay, very good. And are these printers made in the United States? Do you know if they're produced in the United States? Because the state legislature was having a really hard time approving anything that was made overseas, as far as election integrity.
To be honest, I couldn't answer that. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that.
Yeah, we can talk offline. So,
Okay.
Okay. That's just the legislature's preference.
Motion?
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a motion to approve a ratified purchase of the 12 unbudgeted capital for 12 ballot printers for elections not to exceed $29,700.
And I'll second Supervisor Howard's motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. And then I'm also here to ask the board to approve appointing precinct committeemen, and this is for our Democratic Party. It's precinct number 2, which is Stafford, and then precinct number 15, also Stafford. They do have seats currently available, and the 2 that were presented to us, they are eligible for their respective precincts.
Okay.
Very good. That's almost a formality, unless there was something that came up. So I would move that we approve the appointment of the 2 precinct committeemen for the
second it.
Democrats. Okay.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Hannah.
Appreciate it.
Next, we'll hear from McCoy Hawkins with our IT department. Good morning, McCoy.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm here to ask for out-of-state travel for an employee from May 30th to June 5th to go to the Las Vegas Strip and have a
And
week of classes with Cisco Live. We use Cisco. 99% of our network and our security is Cisco. There's a lot of investment in our county network through the Cisco brand. So this was budgeted for in my budget. I'm just requesting out-of-state travel to allow him to go to Las Vegas.
No questions for me.
nope. And it's no vacation in the middle of the summer to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
No, you got to sharpen the saw. I would, this looks like they're driving. Is that correct? They're driving?
Correct.
So that's simplifies and things. I'd go ahead and make a motion that we do support our ID department and approve the out-of-state travel for Cisco training in Vegas.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, McCoy. Next, we'll hear from Steve Puzis with our Highway Department. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm asking for approval to purchase unbudgeted capital SBITA asset for G-Works, PubWorks, cloud-based software not to exceed $28,292 pre-tax if applicable. This is for remainder of this year, next year, and the year after. PubWorks is what we document all our highway work and all that on, and G-Works bought them out a couple years ago. So they're just switching to their base. So it's very reasonable for their looking at other maintenance fees that other software takes. So that's what it's for.
A necessary evil. So,
Yeah, when we're using proprietary software and don't have market forces to lower prices, then we're at pretty much at their mercy. My question for you, Steve, is it shows a request for purchase of unbudgeted capital. Since we've been using this and will continue to use it, I guess my question is why wasn't it in the budget?
Well, because they switching over now instead of at the physical year.
Okay.
Right, Julie?
Any other?
Yes, go ahead.
They've never had cloud-based before, and so now we're going to actually be using their software on the cloud, which is what makes it the capital SB. And we didn't know that in the budget process, that they were going to do that this year.
Okay, great explanation. I understand now. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
go ahead
Any
and make
other
a motion to, as written.
And I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you, gentlemen. The next is approval to renew the agreement with Michelin NextTrack GPS monitoring service as a 5-year capital SBITA from May 26 to 4 of 31. This is all sheriff department uses it. We do. It's just GPS monitoring of vehicles, and it's I can tell you Jeff probably thinks it comes in very handy when we use this.
Is there any way, Chairman, if I may, is there any way to use the consolidate and use the same software for the same software package and maybe get an extended price if we combine with the Sheriff's Department, or is it necessary to have them be individual?
They're together. We get billed all together. It just gets separated out later.
Okay, so we are getting the best price based on the number of vehicles. Okay, thank you.
And just so you know, ASIP carries all the jail, they pay for the jail vehicles, but they have GPS on them too.
Okay. I'll go ahead and move that we approve the renewal agreement for Michelin X-Track GPS monitoring for our highway department.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you, Steve. Now I'll turn the time over to Manager Welker with the Board of Supervisors.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This one will come with a little explanation because there's some history on it. Secure Rural Schools is funding very much like PILT, payment in lieu of taxes that counties with a lot of public land receive. Secure Rural Schools is money from the federal government, from the Forest Service specifically, and it's based on providing funds to schools that have a lot of public lands, and therefore they don't have a lot of private lands they can tax for property taxes to fund their schools. Also, like PILT, this is not in the federal government's baseline budget, so every year it has to be considered separately and has to actually be placed into the budget to be funded. Last year at this time, we found out that that the federal government was not going to fund Secure Rural Schools. But because they didn't fund it, what happens is in place of that, there's something called the Forest Service 1908 Act, commonly known as 25% payments. So we typically get, and it varies every year, between $350,000 and $400,000. And last year, because of that, because it wasn't funded, only partially, we received $80,248.42, which again is a partial payment. These funds mainly go to the schools. We are actually directed by the Auditor General to take a portion of that and give it to our highway department for the maintenance of school bus routes and roads. So we typically take $50,000 of the full allocation. Last year, because it was a partial, we just took $5,000 and gave that to the highway department, which left a little over $75,000. Last year at this time, Bonita Schools was going through a significant financial hardship. So rather than distribute the $75,000 amongst all the schools, the Board of Supervisors chose to give that entire amount to Bonita Schools to help them out. Fast forward to this year, through a lot of lobbying efforts from the schools, they were able to get the federal government to not only fund Secure Rural Schools for this fiscal year, but also to provide the additional funding that wasn't funded last year. So we have received the funding from the additional funding from last year, and that's what is on the agenda today. We will receive the other funding for this fiscal year sometime in April, so we'll be bringing this back. So what we have is $325,000 that we've received, which is the additional payment from last year's $75,000. And it is the board's obligation to take that money and distribute it according to your desires to the school districts in Graham County. Of that $325,894.18, we've already taken out $45,000 for the roads, like we're obligated to do. And what you have, well, it was 370,000. You're left with $325,894.18 to distribute among the schools. Now, in the past, other than last year, we've had two different methodologies that we've looked at. Methodology number one is to distribute those funds to the schools strictly according to student population. And that's how the county did it for years. 3 or 4 years ago, we changed that methodology to a second one, which was 80% based on population and 20% based on public lands. So we have provided you an Excel spreadsheet that has those two methodologies. You do not, of course, have to choose one of those two. You can direct staff to do another methodology, but staff's recommendation is to use one of those two. We feel like the second methodology that we have used the last few years, other than last year, the 80% to 20% split, in our opinion and recommendation, that's a fair way to do it. So with that, sorry for the long explanation, and I'll turn it over to the board.
I'm in agreement with the staff's recommendation to use number 2 myself. I feel like it's worked well and distributes the money equally.
Chairman, I would note that Danny Smith was he represented the Bonita district, and that was their need was the catalyst for going to a methodology where and this is everything. It's a compromise. Some people I know would prefer to have it based purely on public lands. And others who don't have public lands would like it all based on population. So this is just like anything else. There's a compromise. Not everyone would be happy, but I would note here in the there's we don't have a third where it's 100% public lands, but we have had received a letter that was asking for us previously to allocate based on public lands. But if we do that, we would transition, I think, do a transition in the future where we would make incremental changes so that it doesn't shock anyone's system. But under this, Pima will receive $57,000, Safford $129,000, Solomon $7,500, Thatcher $83,000 under the 80-20, Fort Thomas $29,000, Dan Hinton $1,400, and Bonita $1,700, in addition to the lump sum that they received earlier. So this is to me, it's fair and equitable. We're not reinventing the wheel. This is something that we have used in the past, and Danny Smith was the author of it, and we recognize his concerns about Bonita and other schools with public lands. So that is the direction I'm leaning, unless I hear something compelling otherwise.
Yeah, I tend to agree there. I was looking at the chart here, and with going to the 80-20 method, Bonita will get an increase, and Pima will get an increase, and it looks to me like everyone else will get a decrease. So there's always winners and losers. They're not big increases, but they do go back, and I think it's about the fairest way we possibly can do this. There's always issues. There's always like Supervisor David said, the acreage is always a big issue. Population is always a big issue. So I would tend to agree that 80-20 would be the way I would probably, or that I'm going to lean to.
If I might add, this was a big lift. National Association of Counties, as well as our local constituents of our senators and also our representatives in Congress. They're the ones who approved it. There was a lot of uncertainty, and we are grateful for everyone's effort to get this passed and funded. And so I just wanted to note that is who's responsible for getting this this opportunity.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept the methodology number 2, 20% acreage, 80% population for the SRS funding.
And I'll second Supervisor Howard's motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Now take this opportunity for county manager and members of the board to present a brief summary of current events. And we will start with Manager Welker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I gave kind of a robust update last meeting, so I'll be a little briefer this time. I did want to update some of our projects. Our Main Street building remodel for our county's attorney's office is going really well. The sheetrock is complete, and we're taping texturing and should be installing doors next week. Our fairgrounds master plan, we've been going back and forth with submissions of our final construction plans, and we have another submission from Bowman that we're reviewing right now. In-house, our engineering department has developed our CDBG project plans. Those are the sidewalks that'll go around the duck ponds in the new playground area, and also we're hoping if the bids come in good, we'll be able to do some sidewalks in the lower Ramada area as well around the near the basketball court. So hopefully those will come in good. Those are getting out to bid, and we'll have a bid opening on May 4th for that sidewalk project. If anyone's been down to the fairgrounds lately and been by Armory Road, we have our new fairgrounds sign up, which I think looks pretty good. We're pretty happy with that. We're working on our Superior Courtroom pews that Judge Peterson requested through the budget, and those are being built by the state prison department organization. Central Park is moving very nicely. This project's already poured a lot of the sidewalks, the main gazebo pad, the smaller gazebo pad, and that project is moving really well. Matt and Mike and his guys are keeping up with them too for all the parts that they're responsible for. We opened up our ag building installation, I think at our last meeting. That project was awarded to ASI LLC, which is a local company, Jared Bingham's company. That project is scheduled to be done at the end of May. Our ag building fans and electrical upgrade, they're working on that. That's scheduled to be done by April 18th. So both of those should be complete by then. Just want to provide an update on our communication systems. We've been in discussions with DPS about joining their trunking system, their communication system. They, for the first time ever, are offering counties dispatches throughout the state to join their system. What that does is it gives us the opportunity to talk to DPS. Our officers can talk to DPS. They can talk to really anyone throughout the whole state. So if Sheriff Allred is in a meeting down in Phoenix, he can listen to all the communication on the radios and talk back to dispatch and talk back to his officers, which would be great. It is a better system than ours. It's a higher level. It's still digital, but it's on another capacity level. It has a clearer sound, and from what I hear, the best part about it is if you're trying to call dispatch and multiple people are trying to call right now, if one officer is speaking to dispatch and someone else tries to come in, they may communicate a message and may not know that it didn't go through. But with a trunking system, it's just like it says, it's like a trunk. it queues up the call, and after one call goes through, that call will follow and another follow and another follow. And also lets you know if someone else is already talking to dispatch. So for a lot of reasons, it is a superior system. Of course, DPS, we do like working with them, but they're not going to give us anything for free. So there is a cost to it. It would be about $30,000 a year to the county. So that is something that we'll be discussing in our budget meetings to see if we want to go forward with that. This has been, just want to say, a great collaborative effort. I want to thank McCoy and Under Sheriff McCormies for bringing in all the other agencies, Safford, Thatcher, Pima, and EAC. We've been in several meetings all together, all in the same room. The last one included all the managers as well. So the communication for this has been superb, and we'll continue to communicate as a group as we look towards possibly entering into an intergovernmental agreement with DPS for this. I want to report on spent 3 days, week and a half ago, me and Cindy Norris Blake in our annual health trust meeting. If you look across the country, health insurance rates are skyrocketing. Most trusts, most health insurance rates are looking at 10 to 20% increases. When we entered into our meeting, we were facing a 17% increase for the cost of our health insurance for Graham County. That's significant. That equates to almost $600,000 a year in cost to us. That was really unpalatable, not just for Graham County, but the other 5 counties that we belong to the trust with. So we had to really sharpen our pencil and work on ways to decrease that cost. By the time we got out of that 3-day meeting, we are looking at an 8.5% cost increase. So we're able to cut it in half, which is closer to $300,000 increase that we'll have to work with as we're doing our budgets this year. One way we did that is we'll be changing our RX provider. Pharmaceuticals have skyrocketed in price, and we learned over the 3 days that the way we procure our pharmaceuticals wasn't the most efficient way to do it. So we'll be changing that provider, and that should result in health cost decrease. The other thing we had to toggle with was our maximum out-of-pockets and deductibles. So we'll be letting our employees know that those will be effective on July 1st. So unfortunately, we had to increase some of those to be able to drive that increase down to something that was more affordable for the trust. Some other updates over at the parks and fairground where they've been doing a whole lot of work on our Little League fields. Opening day is coming up here real quick. Trey will let us know in our work session when that is, just in a couple weeks. But he and his guys have done a tremendous job getting our dugouts and fields and everything ready for opening day. We'll be proud of our fields here in a couple weeks. They're looking great. On the highway department, they've been real busy. Today they're starting the work on Sanchez Road to get that ready for chip seal here in a few weeks. We've also been screening material in our Seneca pit to use on Emery Road, trying to get that. Those are 2 of our big roads. We're still hopeful that we can get Clough Avenue done, though we do have some hangups there that we'll discuss in our work session. And I believe that's my report for now, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Thank you, Manager Welker. Next, we'll hear from Vice Chairman David.
Thank you, Chair. Kind of a busy couple weeks. We had a work session at our last Board of Supervisors meeting with BLM and heard about the sand dunes, the project that's going on there, and got an update on some of the national programs and changes in the BLM. The following day, I went to Substance Abuse Coalition meeting, as well as a planning meeting for the Gila Valley Veteran Services Stand-Down Day. Also, on Thursday, had a lengthy hearing with the Arizona State Liquor Board, and then the next day, to finish out the week, there was a webinar with County Supervisors Association Legislative Policy Committee. That's a tongue twister, and which I appreciate you both other supervisors joining in. And then later that day, there was a planning meeting for this fall's 5K and 10K mental health awareness run. The next week had out of the blue, someone called and wanted me to read books. I guess they figured I'm a nice grandfather-looking person, so I had a chance to go to the Head Start and read a book to the kids, and that was really great. I made the mistake of bringing a couple teddy bears along, and that was a major distraction. They were arguing over the teddy bears instead of listening to the story. So that night, city council meeting, attended, and then the next day we had here, again, the supervisors attended the SEGO meet and greet to find out, to support SEGO, Southeastern Arizona Government Organization, and later that night attended, I'm not a board member, but attended by invitation the Historical Society meeting. Following Wednesday, a National Association of Counties meeting, a local committee to end homelessness meeting update, and Chairman Mac did a great job of directing the elected officials department head meeting on Thursday, and then another Veterans Resource Fair meeting, our final one before this Friday's event. And then there was a CSA meeting on Friday, and that's my report.
Thank you.
I attended many of the same things. Don't need to go into it, but I wished I could have been at the teddy bear book reading. Oh, that would have been great.
Well, I think you'll get it. I'll let them know you can get a turn.
But I'll go ahead and pass. Thank you.
Okay. I attended a lot of the same things that the other supervisors did, but I think the most important thing I attended was our elected officials and department head meeting last Thursday. And just want to publicly thank our department heads, our elected officials, and our county employees. Our employees are definitely our greatest asset in the county, and I feel like our county has the best employees and the best department heads, and just want to commend them for their work and their efforts to keep our county going. It takes a lot, so just want to thank everybody for their efforts. Manager Welkers asked for another minute.
Sorry, just two other things real quick. Our Valley Telecom project we've been waiting on for a long time, from Thatcher to Pima to Bryce to Fort Thomas, is scheduled to start March 19th. So Valley Telecom did finally hire a contractor, and that project is thankfully moving. So that's good to hear. The other thing, I apologize, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I had a mix-up with the Forest Service on the agenda. It says the work session is at 1. They're coming at 11, and they're bringing some people down from Tucson. So just a small correction on the agenda. I apologize for that. That was my fault.
No problem.
Okay. All right. We'll now move forward, close our regular meeting, and go into a public hearing. And we'll turn the time over to Steve McGoy with our Planning and Zoning Department. Sorry. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, gentlemen. This is a public hearing request applied for by KMS Enterprises, or Stephanie Sutherland. This is a road name request. A couple months ago, you guys approved the zone change request out on Lebanon Loop for 2 parcels to be split into 5. And this is to name the road that's going to go in there so that they can have addresses. Our ordinance says that if this were shorter than 300 feet, it would have to be Lebanon something. I still think that makes sense, and they were amiable to it. that's probably a 500 to 600 foot driveway, but I think the request to have Lebanon Springs Trail will help emergency responders immediately know that it's in a specific area of the county, and that's kind of why we do that. I haven't heard anything specifically against this, other than one neighbor was not in favor of the fact that it would be a dirt driveway, but he wished it were paved. But other than that, I think we're good to go, and we as staff recommend that we name this Lebanon Springs Trail.
Okay. Any questions or concerns?
No objection.
I just had a couple questions. One is this is a non-county road, is that correct?
Correct. It's not maintained.
So will they be purchasing the signpost and the sign then?
We bill that through the building permits.
Okay, very good. And then I just wanted to go back to the original meeting where we rezoned that, and the Nyes were in opposition, but I'm grateful that the developer did put the roadway in the middle to allow the minimal disturbance to the Nye family. You know, they have the two parcels backyards, but they don't have their traffic. So that was a good example of planning and zoning, a good hearing and a good stipulation. So now I would support this as we get ready to vote.
Just to make sure there's not anybody here from the public to speak on this. Okay, seeing none, do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'd go ahead and make a motion to change the, or name the proposed road Lebanon Springs Trail. Site address is west of Lebanon Loop.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Do we have anybody here for a call to the public today? Okay. Seeing none, we will go ahead and adjourn our meeting. Thank you all for being here today.